Hi, it's Bonnie Gray, and I'm really happy to get a chance to talk to you today just to bring you to this favorite part of the trail that I love to do, and it's the redwood forest. I love it here. There's just something about the hush of a redwood forest. It's just very quiet and yet very soothing and cool. And if when I'm with a friend, this is also the part where we've already spent some time on the trail and we're very comfortable with each other and we start talking about things that really matter, things that really are personal and touch us. So I wanted to bring you straight here. The reason is because you wouldn't have guessed it. It's amazing, but it's been 1 year since my book, Finding Spiritual Whitespace, Awakening Your Soul to Rest, has been released. And I cannot help but want to take some time to thank you. And I'm probably going to get a little emotional, but it's appropriate. When I first wrote to you on my blog on Faith Barista and told you that I was having panic attacks, I hadn't written on the blog for about 4 or 5 months, and I kept waiting for the time that I would get better and I wouldn't have them anymore, and then I'd be able to tell you, hey, this is why I've been gone and everything's all right now. But it turns out as I started uncovering the memories of my childhood, I realized that the journey for my healing was only just beginning, and I really felt that I probably wouldn't be able to write anymore. And anybody who's dealt with anxiety or depression or panic attacks or even just going through difficult times in life, I know you'd be able to relate. I wanted to just withdraw and isolate and just didn't feel good enough to offer anything of value. But I remember I wrote the post, why I've been away and why I must write today. And when I wrote to you, I was thinking that was kind of my goodbye post. So at least I would let you know what's happening with me. But I remember everybody was so gracious and so encouraging and so kind. The emails were coming in and your comments were coming in, and I suddenly begin to realize, and really it was just the beginning step, that maybe I could be loved and accepted for the journey that I was on, and that the book was really not important so much anymore because God was really calling me to draw close to Him. God was calling me to uncover the parts of my heart that I had protected myself in and that I had buried away and that I didn't feel that there was any need to look at again. But God leads us by faith, and He brings us away from the path where it might be noisy and it might be busy, where we don't have to think or deal with a lot of things. But God brings us to the places that are still tender in our hearts, and He wants that closeness and intimacy. So my time had come, and God knew that I couldn't make this next leg alone on my own. And He brought you into my life. Because of you, I had the courage to write just one next post, the next one that I was able to write. And I only wrote once a month. And every month when I did write, I would confide in the real things that were happening and what God was showing me. And they were all things that were in process. And again, every time I wrote, you would respond, you would share your stories, and I realized that actually what was more real were the stories we were living. So I started changing, even though I didn't even realize it. I started sharing the stories that were happening in my life, rather than just writing about the things that I knew to be true. I was writing about things I was experiencing and learning to be true. Anyhow, during that year when I had difficulty breathing and I really didn't see very many people at all, you guys were my soul's lifeline. And when I'm writing, I can just be myself. And I found that in this honest place, where I've always been alone, I was suddenly not alone. And there were kindreds that were also on the journey of life and faith with Jesus. And slowly over time, as I healed my memories and I worked with God and a small number of friends, and with you by my side through the writing, I got to a point where suddenly I didn't have panic attacks anymore. So the first thing in my mind was, I need to tell you everything that I've experienced. And I couldn't stop writing. Then it was effortless because my heart was no longer alone. And I knew that there was someone who had been through it with me. And I wanted you to share in the blessing of what I experienced. So I wrote Finding Spiritual Whitespace, but it still wasn't over, because then I had to take the step of then publishing, putting in print black and white for everyone to see, people that I didn't know and people who didn't know me. And so here you are again. You played a big part in releasing my book because you were the ones that wrote about... Okay, sorry for that little break. We had a hiker pass by, so I let her through first. So once my book was released, you were the ones that then took this book and you gave it the honor and the dignity of having it read. And then you went a step further. You then introduced it to your other friends and perhaps your family, your mother, your sister, your friend, and for some of you, even your brother, and other people that are important to you. Or maybe even in some cases, you've told me that you've met strangers, and as they shared a story with you, you recommended my book to them. And I want to thank you, because this book that I didn't plan on writing, and in fact I was terrified and went through a lot of anxiety and personal cost to publish publicly and to release, you have given this book the heartbeat. You have given this book its hands and its feet, and you have brought this book into hearts and places that I would never had the courage to bring it. But because you know me in a way that nobody else really in my speaking life knows me, because you know, writing is my safe place, and writing is where I feel most vulnerable and where I confide in my heart and I speak my true voice. So you know me, and you've shared what you have received from this book. And I cannot tell you the emails that you send me and the comments and stories that you share on Facebook and on Instagram, to know that you are also experiencing spiritual white space, that you are also finding permission with God to rest and to find peace and to pursue a refreshing life and to make time for the things that really nurture your soul with God, and giving Him access to your stories, and no longer being afraid of who you are and who you are growing into. And I'm just so grateful. This isn't just a book to me, it's changed my life, and it's still changing my life. And I am not being sentimental when I say you are key to this, because I was about to stop writing and disappear into the sunset, and who knows how long. And I really doubt I'd be able probably to come back after leaving so long. But you didn't allow me to do that. You didn't, by extending your kindness, your stories, your encouragement, your acceptance. And there's never been a harsh comment, a judgmental comment on the blog. I think that would have crushed me, honestly, in that vulnerable state. But you guys were amazing. So I want to thank you at this 1-year mark. You've given me a new journey to know that my voice is one that is welcomed. And it's almost like I was holding my breath for a year to see if it's really true, that God does want to connect me to others, to you, through the words that I share, what God has given to me. It was kind of like I was holding my breath, and after a year, I can kind of see, okay, it's true, you know? So you have given me that confidence, and now I'm in prayer to continue sharing the word of spiritual white space, to continue to speak. I mean, this is me. 3 years ago, I couldn't even breathe, and I wasn't even leaving my home, and here I am now speaking and sharing about spiritual white space, and being a guide to soul care, and helping communities and groups experience what it would be like. So I just really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And at this 1 year birthday, I just want to encourage you, if you have enjoyed finding spiritual white space, please post a review on Amazon, and continue to tell your friends about how this book has touched you. And also welcome to share your moments of spiritual white space on Instagram. And we have some hikers here passing by. Yeah, it's all right, thank you. And just want to thank you for that, and I'm looking forward to what God is going to be doing in this next season of my life. I'm now learning a lot of things that I've uncovered. Now I'm asking God, how do you want me to feel and journey through this next phase? What are the things that I'm unlearning, and what are the things that I'm continuing to listen to what God is sharing with me? So I will continue to share with you, and I look forward to hearing from you as well. Thank you, and God bless you, and I'm so excited and blessed to call you kindreds. All right, love you guys. Bye.